Hi everyone, welcome back to the Caistrology channel, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Cailin, and today we're going to be looking at your October 2025 horoscope. You can watch your horoscope for your ascendant, sun, and moon sign. I do recommend that you watch all three if you've got the time, and this is a tropical Western astrology reading, just by the way. If you're wanting more regular astrological updates from me, then you can follow me on Instagram and or Facebook. It's the same handle, which is simply Caistrology. So a little bit of an update for you. I am going to be traveling for the whole month of October. So that means I'm not going to be available for private one-to-one astrological consultations. And just by the way, I'm a tarot reader as well. So I do offer tarot card readings. I'll be back in November if you're wanting to book in a private reading. So without further ado, let's get into your October horoscope. Hi Cancer, Sun, Moon and Risings, welcome to your October 2025 horoscope. On the 7th of October, Mercury is going to enter the sign of Scorpio. So it's going to be transiting your 5th house until almost the very end of the month, at which point it will ingress into the sign of Sagittarius. Definitely pay attention to what is coming through for you between the 7th of October and the end of the month. Why do I say that? It's because next month in November, we're going to have a Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius / Scorpio. So basically the events of October are going to keep playing out into November and, even December as well. In any case, the 5th house relates to your own business. So for some of you, this could be ideas around starting your own business, expanding your existing business further, or it could be related to love, romance, and whatever it is that you do in the way of entertainment, hobbies, passions, etc. Also on the 7th of October, we are going to have a full moon in Aries at 14 degrees in your 10th house. So this is the very top of your chart. Just pretend that that says Aries. And basically when we have a full moon in our 10th house, activating our midheaven, it is indicative of basically some kind of completion, the ending of a chapter, or even like a harvest period. And this relates to our career, our public reputation, and basically the highest form of leadership positions that we may hold. So because this full moon is actually conjunct the fixed star Alpha, this is indicative of you achieving some kind of independence or freedom, and this could be within your existing career if you are indeed in the workforce. So for some of you, this could look like walking away from a job or actually being free from certain burdensome responsibilities that are basically just weighing you down. If perhaps you are self-employed or you own your own business or company, then maybe this is indicative of you achieving some kind of goal. Okay, because this particular fixed star is associated with not just freedom and independence, but also creativity as well as glory and riches. Not my words, right? The fixed stars and text on the fixed stars are very, very old, but in any case, in a modern day translation or interpretation, we could see this as you coming out on top, maybe winning some kind of battle against your boss or a former employer or company. And for others of you, perhaps this is indicative of you shedding your old skin and feeling like you're finally putting a past version of yourself behind you. And that could be something that you were known for in like a public way. So maybe this is something to do with your reputation. For example, maybe you had a reputation for being fickle or non-committal or being lazy. I don't know. I'm just throwing like negative stereotypes and archetypes out there, right? But it's like you are leaving that behind. Or perhaps you were known as, the chronically single friend and you're entering into a relationship. So these are obviously just some random arbitrary examples, but I hope that you get the point. It's really about you successfully reinventing yourself. And that can be in a professional sense, or that can be like your reputation and how you're known amongst friends or in your wider network and community. And for others of you, maybe this is just marking the end of a certain point in your career, or having achieved some kind of important work milestone. Okay, so on the 14th of October, the 13th or the 14th, depending where you live in the world, Venus is going to enter the sign of Libra. And Venus will be in Libra in your 4th house up until the 6th of November. So there will be a 10-day overlap period of having both Venus and the Sun in the 4th house. So pretty much between, let's say, the 13th of October and certainly through till the 23rd of October, there could just be a really big focus for you on your property and your living situation. And, for some of you, this could be wanting to facilitate a relocation, buying, selling. For others of you, it could be about redecorating the home, making important purchases for the home, or maybe having guests over and just like a period of entertaining in the home. Of course, it doesn't have to be. On a different note, having Venus transit the 4th house, and again, this will be up until the first week of November, could indicate that you're enjoying time with family, with friends, with people that you live with, or perhaps you are staying somewhere that's really beautiful, even if it's away from home, right? So in those first 24 to 48 hours, Venus in Libra is actually going to make a bunch of aspects. It's going to oppose Neptune in Aries in your 10th house, plus it's going to trine both Uranus in Gemini and Pluto in Aquarius. So these are in your 12th and 8th houses. And these are moksha houses. These are associated with being liberated from some kind of emotional drudgery, we can say, or perhaps feeling like you have just been held back, or you've got these fears and these insecurities, and maybe there's just been things from your past that have been plaguing you, whether that is to do with childhood wounds, or past relationships, or even addictions and vices. Ultimately, what we're seeing here, albeit brief, is a grand trine between these planets in air signs. So again, that's that activation of Venus in the 4th, Uranus in the 12th, and Pluto in the 8th. So this could also indicate finally putting certain family problems behind you, and maybe experiencing deep forgiveness or healing. Whether or not you're still in communication with certain individuals or not is beside the point. It's like, whew, I can just make peace with this, right? So on the 14th of October, Pluto is going to station direct in Aquarius at 1 degree in your 8th house. It's not necessarily a big deal, but just flagging this date with you in case something notable happens with respect to things like your mutual resources with other people, inheritance money, wills, plus maybe like a breakthrough psychologically speaking, or even experiencing some kind of like occult initiation. On the 20th of October, Mercury is going to form a conjunction with Mars in Scorpio at 19 degrees, and this is going to be occurring in your 5th house. Couple interesting things here. One is that Mercury and Mars will form a conjunction 5 times between this point and March 2026, but not all in the sign of Scorpio. And ultimately, this is activating a grand trine, which is basically going to see you through till the end of the month. So what we've got here is the Mercury-Mars conjunction trining Jupiter in Cancer in your 1st house, and also trining Saturn in Pisces, and that's in your 9th house. And basically, to me, this is indicating that you are experiencing a really profound shift in terms of your belief systems, and that could be spiritual, religious, that could be political, ideological, or even like your own personal code of ethics. And I really feel like this, it's basically like 1/3 of the month, right? Like, let's say from the 20th of October through till the end of the month, there's going to be this focus for you on moving into a state of alignment. And grand trines, especially when they are in water signs, indicate that we are experiencing emotional ease, surrender. It's like we're letting go of things that no longer serve us. We're experiencing profound healing, and there can just be like moments of peace and acceptance with a situation that's been going on for, I want to say, more than months, like honestly years and years and years, where it's like you're seeing why you endured what you endured. And I'm not here to say like everyone deserves the trauma that they experienced or anything like that. It's almost like there's a through line here between a certain series of events, and I feel like there's this really poignant moment of clarity and just understanding what needs to be done for you to get from where you are to where you want to be going. And I think that anything that has been uncertain in your life in terms of your clarity of vision, what you want to do with your future, what direction you should be headed in, especially if this relates to things like study, travel, starting your own business, even like a romantic relationship or starting a family, all of these things are going to start clicking into place in terms of, do I want this, yes or no? And if yes, how do I pursue it? And if no, how do I let it go? How do I surrender this? How do I move on? So to me, this looks like a very spiritually enlightening time for you. So any moments that you can squirrel away to be introspective, to journal, to be at one with yourself, to meditate, to go inwards, I would be taking those up and really making the most of it. So on the 21st of September, we're going to see a new moon in Libra at 28 degrees, and this is going to be occurring in your 4th house. So this particular new moon in Libra in your 4th house is making a T-square with you. It will be squaring Jupiter in Cancer at 24 degrees and also opposing Chiron in Aries at 24 degrees. So that's activating the 4th house, the 10th house, and the 1st house. And ultimately, new moons are all about planting the seeds, wanting to call a new chapter into fruition, into being. And we're really honing in on, well, what does the 4th house rule over, right? And this is all to do with your property and your living situation. So that can be where you're living, property, whether you own it, whether you are an owner-occupier, an investor, or you're looking at commercial property. All of these things are a potential for you to start manifesting or start calling into your life. It of course depends on your own personal birth chart and whatever it is that you feel inclined towards, but certainly if you are unhappy with your current living situation, then you can utilize this time, which again is basically from the 21st of October, and even those few days afterwards, a week, 2 weeks later, we can start seeing things click into place here. So it's possible that you may be planting those seeds to facilitate a relocation process, procuring property, maybe selling property, or perhaps this is looking at a new rental agreement or arrangement. And of course, the 4th house relates to our family situation. So for some of you, maybe you're wanting to call in a better relationship with certain family members. For others of you, maybe you are interested in starting a family or expanding your existing family further. And because of the square to Jupiter in Cancer and the opposition to Chiron in Aries, again activating that first house and that 10th house, plus the 4th house, of course, it looks like there's something uncomfortable here in the way of a growth edge and being basically called to expand beyond your existing comfort level. And so this can look like maybe having to compromise in terms of where it is that you may be looking to relocate to, or having to put certain feelings aside in order to be able to have a functioning relationship with a family member, where it's just like, okay, I accept that they are the way that they are. Maybe I'm not getting the perfect apology. Maybe this isn't, the ideal for how I would want our relationship to be, but it's a start and it's a step in the right direction. So I feel like there's, I don't know, the term humble pie is coming to mind, plus humility. So take that as you will. Moving along, on the 22nd of October, we're going to see Neptune re-entering the sign of Pisces. So that means it's going to be transiting your 9th house, and that will be for another 3 months. So it's stepping out of the top of your chart in Aries, moving into that 9th house, and it'll be at 29 degrees Pisces for 3 months. This is the critical anaretic degree in astrology, and the 9th house is all about your belief systems, okay? Spiritual belief systems, political, religious, ideological, your own personal code of ethics. It also relates to travel, and it relates to higher education and teaching, okay? And a lot more, but these are some of the buzzwords in astrology. So for some of you, there may be a crisis of faith here, where it's like, okay, I thought I believed in this thing, but I'm being guided in another direction. For others of you, you could maybe have previously have been like agnostic or atheist, and you're perhaps experiencing what you might call subjective proof of something beyond that, like source or a higher power. In any case, I do want to remind you that even though Neptune's going to be at this 29 degree point, which does imply that there's some kind of belief system that you're wrestling with and that you're trying to deprogram, we're still in this grand trine energy, which is so amazing. Like literally the next day, Scorpio season begins, and so the sun is going to step into the sign of Scorpio, which means we're going to have 6 planets in water signs purely between the 23rd of October and the 29th of October. So that is so profound for relationships, for being at peace with our emotions, for forgiveness, for healing, for love, for romance, and for accepting the things that are falling away from your life, and ergo stepping into that which is divinely aligned for you as a Cancer, because Jupiter is in Cancer, and Jupiter is trining everything here, right? And with it trining the 5th house and the planets there in the 9th house, it's like between the 23rd and the 29th of October, you may feel deeply connected to what brings you joy, what brings you happiness, what is it going to take for you to repair or rebuild core relationships in your life that are of the utmost importance for you. It can help you to bury the hatchet. It can help you to move on from things that you thought were previously like unforgivable, insurmountable, right? So let me know, Cancer, how this is playing out for you in the month of October. I'm very excited to hear from you, and I think I'm going to leave it there. You know, I guess the last thing would be Mercury does leave Scorpio in your 5th house and it steps into Sagittarius in your 6th house as of the 29th of October. And so again, I just want to remind you to pay attention to what's happening, especially in that last week of October, because we're very much in that pre-shadow Mercury retrograde period. Thank you so much for watching, Cancer. I hope you enjoyed this horoscope. If you did, do me a favor and please give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you are wanting to see more astrological content from me, and even tarot content is going to be coming out in the near future. And of course, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook as well. Thank you, Cancer. Take care and see you next time.